So most computer systems have a one processor, or at least they did. But an easy way of increasing the performance is to use several processors. If you put multiple processors onto a single chip, it's known as a multi-core processor. So a multi-core processor is literally just multiple processors on a single chip. So a CPU that actually contains multiple processors on it. An example of which you can see one on the right, and on the left you can see kind of how it works. So there's certain elements of like cache that they share. So if you think where instructions are coming in, but then they might get segmented into different areas that then each CPU has to be pulling instructions from one single memory location. But where those instructions then come from, your level 2 cache will be shared across. And yeah, it's just from a analyzing performance of a CPU point of view, understanding multiple cores is really important because it's whether to know. Let's say for an example, you've got a single core 3 gigahertz processor, or you've got a dual core. I'm just saying dual to keep it simple. A dual core 1.5 gigahertz processor. What would you go with? Well, you go with the single core because it is. If you've got a set speed like that, obviously two 1.5s equals 3, or you've got 3 on its own. Now, if you think there's got to be some extra work with having more than one core to work out which processor is going to execute which instruction. So therefore, in that example, the single core is better. But generally speaking, in an exam question, you might get something like a single core 3 gigahertz processor or a quad core 1 gigahertz processor. Well, you go quad core because 4 times 1 is 4. So that's like having 4 gigahertz processor. Okay, so that's multiple cores.